Having learned that his parents were coming to visit him, the spoiled rich kid persuaded the plain girl to play the role of his fiancée. And as soon as his mother saw the girl, Kevin was about to shoot the last scene for his new video when suddenly his phone rang and interrupted the whole process. Damn, what bad timing, he swore and answered the call. Hi, Mom. Hello. Kevin, hi, my dear. Are you busy? I was, actually. But never mind. Did you need something or just calling to chat? I wanted to tell you. Your dad and I are planning to drop by tomorrow. We haven't seen you in a while, and you've been so caught up with your blog that you've almost disappeared from the family, his mom chuckled. Well, okay. Did something happen? Yes, I missed you, and Dad wanted to talk to you about something. I missed you too, Mom. If Dad is planning to persuade me to go to law school, he'd better find something more important to do. I am not going to be a lawyer. Even if I have to. Why are you getting worked up, son? I don't know what he wants to talk to you about. Maybe it's something about your blog. Mom, don't make me laugh. Dad talking to his wayward son about his silly blog. That's how he puts it. Don't be mad, Kevin. Your dad just worries about you and wants the best for you. Yeah, like pushing me into law school so I can spend the rest of my life buried in laws. Sure, that's probably the best thing that could happen in my life. You see, your father wants you to be able to support your future family. Mom, tell me, am I not independent right now? Am I always begging you for money? No, that's not what I mean. Dad thinks in outdated terms. A successful blogger can earn a lot of money, honestly. I'm already doing pretty well. And I will become a top blogger, Mom, you'll see. All right, my top blogger, if we arrive around noon, will we disrupt your schedule? Around noon? Yeah, probably not. Should I order food? No, don't worry, I'll take care of it myself. Just make sure to hide everything forbidden so we won't get upset. His mom laughed kindly. Angela had always been a good friend to her son. As you say, Mrs. Bates. Off to hide stuff. Kevin laughed. With that, they said goodbye. Kevin was already 19 and still hadn't chosen a university where he would like to continue his education. Since he was about 15, he started his blog. He filmed various short videos about nature, came up with some funny animations, sometimes involved his friends and acquaintances, and even their younger siblings in the shoots. Initially, it was just a hobby, but for about a year now, blogging had been bringing Kevin Bates a decent and, most importantly, stable income. Kevin was sure his parents' visit was not just a casual one. Surely his father had something planned to start persuading him again about the benefits of going to law school, though maybe he had come up with something more sophisticated this time. I need to somehow distract Dad, Kevin muttered, adjusting his phone camera again to shoot the last frame of an old dry tree. The guy loved this almost abandoned part of the park. Hardly anyone walked here. People preferred to enjoy their strolls in more civilized places. Kevin, on the other hand, came here almost as if to work. He always found something amazing here, and in the editing, it turned into almost a fairy tale. Click, click, done. That's enough for today. Now I need to edit it all into a video, do the voiceover. In short, there's still a lot of work to do. And then Kevin froze. In the rays of the morning sun, a girl with hair the color of milk chocolate with a hint of red walked along the unkempt path of the park. The reddish tint played in the sun so much that it was impossible to take his eyes off it. Kevin took several shots. The girl was still quite far away, so he had no chance to ask for her permission. Excuse me. The beauty, vaguely resembling his mom with her same smile and such lightness, as if she could fly into the sky at any moment, suddenly said, "Do you know how to find someone in this city? I need to find my mom's friend." Do you know her name?" "Yes, her name is Angela, but I don't know her last name. My mom didn't have a chance to tell me. She died in my arms a few days ago." My condolences, Kevin said sincerely. By the way, my mom's name is also Angela. Yes, it's a common name, the girl said, confused. I'm Kevin. Viola, she extended her hand. This hand was almost transparent, with thin bluish veins clearly visible along her forearm. Are you not fed at all? Kevin asked with a laugh, shaking the hand extended to him. There's no one to feed me now. Viola sighed. I'm on my own now. I have no one left. Hey, come over to my place, I'll make you some coffee and toast. No, you don't have to. Don't worry, I won't make any moves on you, I promise. Kevin placed a hand on his chest. That's not what I meant. It's clear you're a decent guy, not the kind who tries to get a girl drunk on cheap port to get her into bed. Looks like you have a rich life experience, the guy whistled. Don't get me wrong, I don't fall for that. I usually punch those guys straight in the face. Right away. No talking. Wow. You're a feisty beauty. Listen, I promise not to spike your coffee with cheap port. I could offer you some Baileys, but only if you want it, Kevin laughed. You're funny, the girl smiled back. All right, let's go have your coffee. They entered the hallway. Wow. You live here? Is this your apartment or do you rent it? It's mine. My parents gave it to me for my 18th birthday. Cozy, right? Yeah, the girl said admiringly. Come into the living room and I'll quickly get everything ready. Need any help? No, I'll manage. I promise not to slip any sleeping powders into your coffee, Kevin winked at Viola. They sipped coffee and crunched on toast with jam. Viola hadn't eaten since the previous evening, so her stomach had long given up begging for food, but still, it got what it wanted. Listen, Viola, marry me, Kevin suddenly said seriously. The guest stared at him as if she was seeing a forest hedgehog with a cane and a top hat. All right, think it over for 3 days and 3 nights, Kevin said mysteriously. What's with the jokes, Kevin? Viola bit into a piece of toast. It's not really a joke. You see, I had a brilliant idea. My parents are coming over tomorrow. Dad will start nagging about going to law school, and those conversations just make my jaw clench, you know? So? Viola looked at him questioningly. I suggest you play the role of my fiancé. Especially since I did honestly propose to you, Kevin chuckled. Why do you need this? Because my dad will be distracted from the topic I hate. We'll discuss the engagement, all that stuff. Do you think your parents will be happy that their son chose a girl from a village 150 miles from the city? You know, my mom is also from a village, so I'll say I chose a bride in the image of my mother, Kevin laughed heartily. Yeah, but how do you plan to pull this off? And besides, I need to find my mom's friend. Mom said I must meet her. She was sure she would help me get settled in the city. We'll find your Angela ex, cool. Sounds like a detective story. Okay, what should I do? Right now, we have a very difficult task to write the script of our acquaintance, to record all the imaginable and unimaginable details of our relationship. Wow, what a challenge. You know, in school, I often came up with scripts for skits in the drama club. So, I think I can handle it. See, how lucky I am to have you. You're interesting, not like the other girls around me. And is that a big circle? Probably a whole chorus? No, I'm not a rake. More of a closed loner, Kevin grinned. Doesn't look like it, Viola shook her head doubtfully. It's just that I'm still under the impression of what I saw today in the park, he rolled his eyes dreamily. What was there? There was a girl walking along the path, and the rays of the morning sun were playing in her hair. You mean me? Viola snorted. Yep, Kevin pressed the cup to his cheek. You're quite a poet, the girl giggled. Let me wash the dishes. Oh, leave it, I'll load them into the dishwasher. Kevin stacked the dirty dishes on a tray and headed to the kitchen. Come on, let's think up the plot of our romantic meeting. Your kitchen is so nice, Viola said, looking around. So, we met in the park. You were filming something, a bird on a branch. I wandered onto an overgrown path. You fell madly in love. And here we are together. I like it. But, what brought you to our city? Or should we say you live here? Oh, right, I didn't think about that. I got it. Kevin suddenly exclaimed. We won't make up anything. We'll say we literally just met. But I fell in love and you did too. How about that? I love telling the truth. You know, if I have to lie for some reason, I always get caught. You're just like in court. Kevin laughed, closing the dishwasher. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Viola laughed too. Well, let's embellish it somehow. Maybe say I saw you in a dream. You're a romantic soul, Kevin said seriously. Yes, I am. My mom used to call me a girl with a butterfly on her nose. Why with a butterfly on her nose? I don't know, maybe because I always loved butterflies, dragonflies, birds, all kinds of flowers. Mom said I'm not of this world, that life would be hard for me. Why necessarily hard? I like people like you. What do you mean, like me? Viola looked attentively at her interlocutor. How to put it more precisely? On your own wavelength. Yes, exactly. You don't care if someone says butterflies are nonsense. You'll still admire and be fascinated by them. Yes, exactly. I don't care what they say. I know what I like and I'm not going to conform to someone else's, stereotypes. Kevin tried to help her. Yes, exactly. That's the kind of people I like. So, back to our notes, Kevin buried himself in his smartphone screen. What do you like? I need to know this for our prank. I like running on grass covered with morning dew, said Viola, and I crochet and make dolls. I used to, before Mom got sick. Cancer ate her up in just a year and a half. I almost went crazy. She had such terrible pain. Ugh, even thinking about it is scary. Now your mom is no longer in pain. Kevin took the girl's hand. Viola saw support in his gaze. Yes, they had known each other for just over an hour, but it seemed to her that this strange guy was capable of sharing the pain that had been living in her heart for more than a year and a half. Yes, I hope she's happy now and has met my dad, whom I almost don't remember. Okay, enough of the sad stuff. What else? Yes, crocheting. I crochet. This cardigan I'm wearing is also made by me, Viola smiled. Cool. You're amazing, Vi. That's what my grandma called me. The girl suppressed a sigh. Listen, I must have already bored you with my sufferings, right? No, you're just very sensitive. That's all. You should write books or scripts for movies. I think you'd be good at it. No way. What kind of writer am I? I only finished school, and even that, our village school. So they chatted for about 3 hours. They decided to deal with Kevin's parents first and then look for Angela X, as he dubbed this woman. I'll make up the guest room for you, Kevin said after dinner. I'll do it myself, just tell me where to get the linens. They're in the closet. Pick what you like. All right. Thanks, Kevin, Viola said quietly and, lightly patting him on the shoulder, went to make her bed. Viola approached the window. The view was so beautiful, a small oval lake surrounded by young trees. Bright umbrellas and lounge chairs were scattered all over the sand. Light emanated from lanterns adorning the bushes, like guards standing watch over the tranquility of this little beach, reminiscent of a fairy tale island. Viola was very tired, so she quickly made her bed with the first set of bed linen she found and crawled under the blanket. Strangely enough, sleep did not come to her. She thought about her mother, her native village, and what she would say to her mother's friend if she even managed to find her. What if she had moved long ago and her trail was lost forever? Tears welled up in Viola's eyes. She missed her mother so much. They always chatted in the evenings, sharing their thoughts, doubts, and joys. Her mother often spoke about her friend Angela, with whom she had been friends since childhood, but then they drifted apart and never met again. Viola's mother only knew the name of the city where her friend had gone to seek her fortune. She had endured much sorrow, which was why she left the village, so that nothing would remind her of her troubles. She also wanted to study and always said one needed to break free from that backwater, live in the city, and earn decent money. Viola's mother was completely different. She didn't want to leave her backwater for any amount of money. Every bush, forest path, and stone on the riverbank was dear to her. Viola had tried many times to persuade her mother to leave that wilderness and try to find a job in the city, but her mother had stubbornly refused, as if her daughter was asking her to replace her soul, not her place of residence. Over time, Viola gave up her attempts, and then her mother fell seriously ill. The girl had to take on all the household duties and care for her sick mother, while also keeping up with her studies. Viola hoped that one day she would still manage to get into a drama school. The drama club leader constantly said that the stage was calling her. Oh, how to break onto that stage. But deep down, Viola hoped that a miracle would happen in her life and she would become a famous actress. Unfortunately, her mother would not be able to rejoice for her. With these thoughts, Viola slowly began to drift off to sleep. Tomorrow she had to meet Kevin's parents. She was afraid of this meeting because she was so easy to read and catch in a lie, though she almost didn't need to lie. What if something still went wrong? These worries finally put the girl to sleep. When the brain gets tired of fearing or worrying, it begins to put a person to sleep. A law of life. Viola was busy in the kitchen. She had managed to persuade Kevin to bake pineapple cookies. Her grandmother had taught her how to make these cookies. They turned out so soft, tender, and very tasty. Why do you need this? Kevin was surprised. Mom said she would take care of the food herself. Kevin, it's great that your parents are coming to visit and there are delicious cookies waiting for them. It's pleasant. All right, Vi, as you wish, he smirked and buried himself in his smartphone screen. The subscribers had started another argument, and he needed to calm them down. The parents arrived right on time. What smells so wonderful? Angela immediately noticed. Such a familiar smell, from childhood. It's all Viola. She wanted to surprise you and baked her signature cookies. Viola, the father was surprised. Who is Viola? Have you hired a cook? You said you wouldn't tolerate strangers in your apartment. Viola is not a cook, she's my girlfriend, almost my fiancée. The son stunned his parents. What? His mother almost dropped her handbag. Hello. Viola greeted the Bates couple with a tray in her hands. On it was a whole heap of golden brown cookies. They smelled so incredible that Angela, ignoring the rules of politeness, snatched one and took a bite. What a delight! Are you Viola? Yes, Mrs. Bates. You can just call me Angela or Angie. Arthur, dear, why are you standing there? Bring the bags to the kitchen. Kevin's father did not argue and did as his wife asked. Viola, dear, will you help me with the salads and the hot dishes? We need to plate everything. Of course, Angela, Viola smiled, putting the tray with the cookies on the coffee table in the living room, and followed the woman into the kitchen. My son didn't mention you at all, Angela said thoughtfully, opening a container with salad. He just didn't have time. We met only yesterday, Viola said casually, taking out the plates. Yesterday? And you're already making yourself at home? Viola almost dropped the plates. She felt uneasy from these words, as if she were intruding into someone else's family. Sorry, I didn't mean it that way, Angela blushed slightly. I meant that you've already managed to bake such amazing cookies. Modern girls are more concerned with their appearance than with surprising their boyfriend's parents. But you're completely different. You remind me of someone. Angela looked the girl over, and her mouth went dry. Half of a wooden heart rested on the girl's chest. Such hearts were made by Angela and her friend Kelly for their daughters. They had carved them out of a piece of wood and turned them into pendants. But Angela never managed to put the necklace on her little girl. She had died almost immediately after birth. Angela wore the pendant herself in memory of her baby. "Is something wrong?" Viola asked. "Are you feeling unwell? Maybe some water?" No, dear, thank you." "Tell me, where did you get this pendant?" "This?" Viola twirled the jewelry in her fingers. "I've had it since birth. Mom said she and her friend made 2 of these. But the friend started wearing hers because her newborn daughter, unfortunately, died." Angela finished sadly for Viola, slightly pulling the cord to reveal her own pendant. You are Angela, my mother's friend." Viola's hand, holding the spoon she was using to serve the salad, froze in midair, and her eyes widened like petunia flowers. "You're Viola." "The same Viola, the girl I was supposed to christen but never did." Tears streamed down Angela's cheeks. They hugged each other tightly without saying a word. "I was looking for you, but my mother didn't even say the last name. She didn't have time. The words froze on her lips when she died." "Oh, my Kelly is dead? What happened to her?" "Cancer," Viola replied shortly and buried her face in Angela's shoulder. "My dear girl, it's so good you met this wanderer. Or did he notice you first? If you mean Kevin, he even took a picture of me before we started talking. We met in the park. Let me guess. On that abandoned, neglected alley, right?" "Spot on. Exactly there." "Oh, my. He goes there like it's his job. And he finds things to photograph. Such a great blogger of all time." Angela laughed softly, continuing to hold the daughter of her best friend, whom she had parted ways with 19 years ago. Finally, everyone sat down at the table. "Oh, I forgot about the wine," Angela said with regret. "But I didn't," Viola smiled. "Your favorite. I'll bring it right away." She fluttered away from the table and left the living room. "Viola is one of your best decisions, son." Angela patted her son on the shoulder. "I have a feeling I've seen that girl somewhere before," Arthur said thoughtfully. "She looks like Mom, right, Dad?" Kevin grinned widely. "Exactly. If you look at photos of Angie at 19 or 20, they look almost the same, except Viola's hair is a bit darker." "And here's the wine," Viola said cheerfully, walking into the living room and wiping the bottle with a paper towel on her way. "Kevin said you like it slightly chilled." "Yes, I don't follow the rules." Angela looked warmly at her son's girlfriend. "Sit down, Viola. I have something to tell our boys." "And what might that be?" Mr. Bates asked in surprise. "My dear ones, the girl in front of you is not just Kevin's girlfriend. Or fiancée, I don't know, but she's also my would-have-been goddaughter. She's the daughter of my best friend Kelly, whom I never got to meet." Angela sniffled. "So that's who Angela X is. Wow. Let's raise our glasses," Kevin exclaimed. "Imagine, you meet a girl, and then it turns out." He trailed off. "I had no idea how to find Angela. My mom only managed to tell me the city her friend moved to, but not her last name. It's a good thing I met Kevin. We were planning to start the search today. And in the meantime, you decided to become engaged, right?" Arthur smiled. But his eyes remained cold. "Arthur, stop. By the way, true love comes unexpectedly." Suddenly, Angela placed her hand on her husband's. "Too young to think about marriage, too young." "Dad, no one is talking about marriage. Usually, people date for a while first. You said yourself she's your fiancée." "Arthur, darling, don't nitpick." Angela looked at her husband with tenderness. It was clear that these two loved and understood each other very well. Such couples could only be envied and used as an example. Kevin was right that this pretend fiancé would help avoid an unpleasant conversation with his father about getting serious and choosing a proper profession, instead of running around with a phone or camera in abandoned places and unkempt alleys. But it was only a delay. At the next meeting, his father would certainly resume the old talk. Kevin didn't know what to do next. His mother turned out to be the very woman Viola was looking for. The circle was closed. But this beauty wasn't his girlfriend. Kevin, son, he heard from somewhere far away. What are you thinking about? His mother tugged at his t-shirt. Huh? No, just. Do you mind if I borrow Viola for a couple of days? I'd love to talk with her about many things. No way, you'll turn her against me. I promise I won't, Angela assured him, placing her hand on her chest. She'll get to meet your sister. Maybe she'll have a positive influence on Bella. Angela smiled and took a sip of wine. All right, fine, Kevin drawled. Before bed, Angela peeked into Viola's room. How are you settling in, dear? She asked. Very well, Angie. Can we talk? Yes, she entered the room and sat in the round chair. I just wanted to say that, Kevin. What is it, Viola? Has my son offended you? No, not at all. Kevin is very nice. It's just, I'm not your son's girlfriend. Everything I said about our meeting is true. But Kevin just didn't want his father to start a conversation about studying. So he made up this whole story, and I happened to be in the park at the right time. I came to this city but had no idea where to look for you. The chances were almost zero. Kevin was a gift from fate. Yes, definitely a gift from fate. I'd even say a surprise gift. Angela laughed quietly. Mom probably wanted me to help you settle in the city, right? Viola nodded and lowered her eyes. I'll help, I promise. You can stay with us as long as you need. I'll handle Arthur, don't worry. Gosh, finding yourself a fiancé. Although I'd be delighted if my rascal had a girl like you. Sometimes I think he'll grow old alone. Kevin just hasn't found the one who captivates him. He's a deep person. It's so interesting to be with him. He can talk about lighting for hours, and it's fascinating. Kevin showed me his videos on his channel. They're amazing. They're not those dumb clips you see everywhere online. Each one has a meaning and a kind message. Viola, you're so unique. It's been a long time since I talked to someone who expresses their thoughts so freely and easily. You know, I always value depth in people. I love Arthur for that. He sometimes goes overboard because he worries about his son and wants the best for him, but he can't understand that Kevin is a creative soul. Forcing him to memorize the criminal code from cover to cover would plunge him into despair, maybe even make him sick. Yes, I see Kevin more as a cameraman or maybe a director. He'd make amazing films. Viola looked dreamily at the ceiling. Do you think so? I need to talk to him about it. One can't just not study anything and be only a blogger, even if a very cool one. But a director is a different story. I was in a drama club at school. I wanted to go to a theater school. But life turned out differently. Mom got sick. I had to take care of her and the house, even knitted for orders sometimes. My poor girl. I'm so sorry I wasn't there for Kelly in such a difficult time, and for you too. But don't worry, I will do everything I can to help you achieve your dream. Thank you, Angie. Viola jumped up from the bed and hugged Angela in the chair. That night Angela couldn't sleep, so she decided not to torture herself and went to the kitchen. She sometimes liked to sit there alone with a cup of green tea with lemon. Now she was sitting at the table with a cup of fragrant tea in front of her, steam rising almost invisibly. Memories rushed through her mind, memories of childhood and youth. They were a group of 4 friends, 2 best friends and 2 best friends, Angela Fry, Kelly Booth, Matthew Stone, and Ben Odeley. They planned to have a double wedding right after high school. But only one wedding happened, Kelly and Ben's. A month before, Matt drowned in the river. No one could understand what happened since the guy swam like a fish, but the fact remained, Matthew Stone died. Kelly and Ben even wanted to cancel their wedding, but their parents convinced them not to, and Angela was also against canceling it, even though she was inconsolable in her grief. Her mother supported her as much as she could, but for Angie, life seemed to end. She spent hours sitting by the riverbank staring into the distance. Kelly was afraid her friend might do something to herself. Misfortunes fell on the girl like a sack. A few days after Kelly and Ben's wedding, Angie's mom went to visit a friend in another village. A neighbor promised to give her a lift since he was going that way too, and she planned to return by bus. But she never reached her friend's house. On the highway, the neighbor's old truck collided with a semi whose driver fell asleep at the wheel and veered into oncoming traffic. Angie had no tears left. Callie's parents helped with the funeral. Soon after, Angela found out she was pregnant. Under different circumstances, she might have discovered it much earlier. Angie, Callie said when she visited her friend, who was now living alone, "I'm expecting a baby, can you believe it?" "Congratulations, Callie," Angela hugged her friend. "Me too." "What? You and Matt had something going on? You two planned to leave all romantic stuff for later, until after the wedding." "Yes, we did. But it happened, Callie," Angie sighed. "Why didn't you tell me anything? What kind of friend are you?" "Come on, Callie, don't be mad. I just wasn't in the right state of mind, you know, everything was such a whirlwind, a black whirlwind." "Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry," Callie hugged her best friend and stroked her back. "Our kids will be friends, like you and me. I'll help you, Angie, Ben and I will help, don't worry. He found a good job, although he'll have to travel to the city often, but it's okay." Angela was so touched by Callie's words. She wasn't alone. Her friends were there to share her sorrows, they were even more than friends to her. One day, Angela was at Callie's. She was in the last days before her due date and hardly went out, but she came because her friend complained about feeling unwell. Callie was due to become a mother in about a month or so. "What's wrong?" Angie asked, entering the house. "I don't know, Angie, my lower back is aching so badly, it's really painful." "Is it starting?" "Callie, don't worry. Your baby just wants to come out already." "Did you tell your mom?" "She's not home, I didn't want to call and worry her." "Where's Ben?" "He should be home soon," the expectant mother winced in pain. Ben's worn-out car pulled up to the house. Angela ran out onto the porch. "Ben, Callie needs to go to the hospital urgently. She's starting labor." Angie felt a sharp pain in her stomach, but it quickly subsided. Both friends stayed in the maternity ward. Angela also started labor. "Let's give birth on the same day," she smiled at Callie as she was wheeled on a stretcher. "Let's," Callie replied through gritted teeth, barely managing a smile. They did it. The daughters were born on the same day. But Angela's baby died almost immediately after birth, while Callie had a healthy girl named Viola. Angela couldn't place the little wooden heart pendant around her baby's neck, so with tears in her eyes, having lost 3 dear ones in the past few months, she put the pendant on her own neck in memory of the daughter she never got to nurse, in memory of her beloved Matt, who never became her husband, and in memory of her mother, who loved her more than life and dreamed of watching movies starring her. Angela made the sudden decision to go to the city. She was heading into the unknown. No one awaited her there. She had no idea where she would live or if she'd find a job. She only had small savings set aside for her daughter. With a small bag and some money in an old wallet, Angela Fry got into the car of an acquaintance who happened to be heading to the city. "Angie, my girl, where are you going?" Callie cried, seeing her friend off. "Who do you have in that city?" "We're here, Ben and my parents. We're family. You promised to christen my Viola." "Callie, why are you seeing me off like it's the last journey? Once I settle in, I'll come visit you and be Viola's godmother right away." I just can't stay. Everything here reminds me. Angie couldn't finish, tears streaming down her face. Why are you sitting here, darling? Arthur asked, peeking into the kitchen. You scared me, Artie. Angie jumped. Just insomnia. Is it because of that girl, Viola? Did she remind you of your sorrows? I don't know, maybe. You know, she seemed so much like me, both in appearance and spirit. It unsettled me. I immediately thought of my daughter, whom I never even looked in the eyes. Angela's voice trembled. You're right. Viola looks just like you. Look at this photo. He pulled a picture from his pajama pocket, showing Angie at 19, just after she arrived in the city and met Arthur. See, she even has the same mole under her nose. The resemblance is uncanny. Angie felt a rush of blood to her head. The resemblance was indeed incredible. Only Viola's hair was darker, like Matt's. Callie and Ben were both fair-haired. But this can't be. Or can it? She distinctly remembered her baby crying loudly when she was born, and then being told a few minutes later that the baby had died from asphyxia. Who told her that? Angela tried to remember and did. It was Callie's mom. She worked as a midwife in that very hospital where Callie and Angie had given birth to their daughters. But why would she do that? Did she think it was better this way, since her daughter was happily married and Angie had already suffered so much? No, it just didn't make sense. Angie, come back to planet Earth, please. Arthur waved his hand in front of his wife's eyes to bring her back to reality. Artie, dear, do you think our daughters could have been switched? I mean, at birth. They were born around the same time. It was night, there was a storm. I remember hearing the windows rattle from the wild wind, the rain pouring down, it was so cold. You mean to say that Viola might actually be your daughter? Arthur looked into his wife's eyes. I don't know. It's just, when I saw her, it felt like my whole body and soul responded to her. I wanted to hug her and never let go. Maybe I'm just getting old, huh? Angie, sweetheart, you can check. And you don't have to tell Viola. You can take her hair, nails, saliva, whatever. She won't even know you're doing the test. But how will I get her hair or? Angie, it's simple. From a hairbrush, for example. Yes, you're right. It's better to be sure than to suffer for the rest of my life. That's the spirit. Now let's go to bed. Arthur pulled his wife by the hand. Bella immediately took to Viola. She didn't leave her side. The girl also enjoyed chatting with the little one and watched everything she showed her. Bella even asked to be taught how to crochet. That day, Angela left the girls alone and went to the lab where they promised a quick DNA analysis. On her husband's advice, she collected Viola's hair from her brush. The girl had long and thick hair, so there was enough biological material. The entire day, Angie couldn't find a place for herself. She was waiting but at the same time afraid of a positive result. In the evening, an email with the test results arrived. The DNA analysis confirmed Angela and Viola's relationship at 99.9%. Angela didn't know what to do, how to behave. She was about to tell Viola everything when Kevin arrived. "Hi, Mom," he said, entering the house. "Where's Viola?" "Hi, son. They are upstairs with Bella. Did you miss her?" "Mom, I wanted to tell you about Vi, she is not." "I know, Kevin, Viola told me everything. And today I found out something important. Very important. Viola." Angela couldn't finish because the girls started coming down the stairs, laughing and discussing something happily. "Mom, what is it? What did you find out?" Kevin waved to Bella and Viola. "Today I found out that Viola is my biological daughter," said Angie. "What?" Viola came closer. "What did you say?" "Secretly from you, darling, I did a DNA test, took your hair from the brush. I'm sorry, I had to be sure. And my suspicions were confirmed. The results just came in. I am your biological mother. But how is that possible? Viola said, bewildered, sitting on the bottom step of the stairs. I'm not exactly sure. Your mother, Kelly, and I gave birth to our babies around the same time. Only I gave birth on time, and she prematurely. Maybe you were switched. To lose one mother and immediately find another, sighed Viola. I don't want to disrupt your life, interfere in your family. My dear girl, I've dreamed all my life that you would come and hug me, and I would hug you. I couldn't believe that my daughter was dead. Viola approached Angela, and they embraced. No words were needed. Bella jumped for joy and shouted, "Hooray! I have an older sister now. Just like Rihanna." Only Kevin stood silently, leaning on the stair railing. He looked lost and even depressed. "Kevin, what's wrong with you?" Angela asked, glancing at her son. "Nothing. I'm glad you found your daughter, Mom. Now Bella and I have a sister." "It doesn't seem like you're happy about it, son." Angela went to the living room. "Let's talk properly." "Mom," Bella suddenly began, plopping down on the sofa, "how can it be that Kevin was born 4 days before Viola? Silly, look at the year." Kevin ruffled his sister's slightly tousled hair. "You're from the same year." The girl stuck her tongue out at her brother. "Vi filled out my form, so I know her birth date." "Mom?" Kevin looked questioningly at his mother. "Oh my God. This day has finally come." Angela covered her face with her hands. "Kevin, I'm sorry, son, that I have to say this." "Mom, what is it?" "Just say it as it is." Kevin jumped to his feet, unable to sit calmly on the sofa. "I raised you and even breastfed you, but—" Angela found it hard to speak, but she made an effort. "I am not your biological mother, Kevin." Angela could no longer hold back her tears. She burst into tears in front of the children. "Mom, don't cry," Kevin said softly, sitting at Angela's feet. "You're my mom, my mommy. I couldn't have found a better mom. You and Dad took me from the orphanage, right?" "No, son, Dad is your biological father. Your biological mother abandoned you. She just left, leaving a note for your father in the maternity ward. He didn't look for her, just took you, hired a nanny. You cried all the time because you were hungry, and you were allergic to all the formulas. You would spit them up. At that time, I came from the village to our city and met you. You were crying in the stroller, and Rosa, your nanny, didn't know what to do. We talked, and I offered to feed you. I still had milk. Your father took me in as a wet nurse, then as a nanny. And then," Angela wiped her tears with the back of her hand, "we realized we loved each other and got married. That's the whole truth, children." Mom, wait. So, Viola is nothing to me, right? She's not my sister? I mean by blood? Kevin jumped to his feet again. "No, you are completely unrelated by blood," she smiled through her tears. "Yes." Kevin exclaimed joyfully and began to jump around the living room like a boy. "Kevin, what's with you?" Viola laughed. "That's what. We can date. We can go to school together. You can study screenwriting and I can study directing. The movies we'll make. We'll rock the world. You don't mind if I become your boyfriend, do you?" Viola was silent and just smiled at Kevin. "Wow. My brother is talking about studying." Bella laughed. "We should tell Dad. Oh, there he is, by the way." The door in the hallway slammed. The head of the family had come home. He couldn't have imagined what he was about to hear that evening.